Hi, Vice Explainer here. Today I'm going to explain a movie named The Howls. The train ticket collector named Joey is shown as the movie starts. He was looking worried at that time. He expected to be promoted, so it is the cause of behind his worry. But he does not get promotion. Rather, one of his colleagues get promoted. Joey does not get promoted because he was not as expert as taking fine from passengers as his colleague, because his colleague was rigid by nature and he had no difficulty to receive fine from passengers. Then there is a girl named Ellen who is trained trolley girl, and Joey used to like her, but he never shared his feeling with her. Joey had to do a night shift today because his colleague was on leave for a cause. Joey collects the passenger's ticket as the train starts its journey. There was a rude girl among the passengers whose behavior was not acceptable with Joey. Joey moves to take the ticket from another girl, but she has no ticket. And Joey asks her to pay the fine, but that girl says, I had brought the ticket as per routine and my ticket had lost somewhere. Then Joey says, you will have to pay fine at any rate. It is according to the travelling rule and you cannot violate the rule. Joey holds his seat after collecting the ticket of all passengers. It was raining outside. Joey falls asleep while sitting on his seat. Train is halted and driver tells it has halted because there has been something wrong with the train. Coming outside the train, driver notices that a deer is dead after being crushed under the train, and it is the cause of the breaking down of train. Driver tries to get the deer out from railway line. Then he senses someone's presence behind the bushes. When driver turns himself to check, then bushes were swaying fastly. Then driver is attacked by a horrific animal. That animal's figure was revealing that is not exactly an animal but a werewolf, which is half man and half wolf. It means he was such a human being who had converted into wolf. On the other side, Joey thinks in the train that driver had gone outside a long time ago and he still has not returned back. Joey tries his best to explain all passengers that train is out of order and driver has not come back yet. Hearing him, all says that we should also go outside. One of the men says it is quite possible that we may get connected with the network at a little distance and we may call help for us, but Joey forbids them to do as such because it was perilous and his job may be at risk due to this. All passengers getting together forced Joey go outside. At last he agrees with them and he accompanies them without carrying off his job. He opens the lock using his key. All passengers begin to come outside one by one as the train door opens, and they were gradually moving forward. Going at a distance, Joey discovers the dead body of driver. Driver's body had been mutilated and his all intestines were appearing out. Joey and Ellen are frightened seeing it, and they understand that there is any horrible animal in the forest which has committed all this, and both flee from there, and they both ask all other passengers to board the train. They say this place is not secure for them, but it is a perilous area. Then the howling of wolves is heard, and that werewolf was moving towards them hurriedly while howling. The rest of passengers board the train one by one, but a lady's leg was still outside. Then werewolf also reaches there and it slams down that lady, lifting up. Anyhow, those passengers are able to bring inside that lady successfully, but she was injured badly because she has been bitten by werewolf. They immediately bandage her wound. All are afraid witnessing her such condition. Joey contacts for help but get no response. There was self-centered boy. He tells everyone there is a very dangerous animal outside and he can also face them. And a lady bitten by werewolf says it is not an animal but its figure is not like animals, but his figure is like a human being. But all were not trusting him because they were thinking as his lady is in shock witnessing werewolf, so she is stating as such because of it. And they hear the sound of someone on the opposite direction of train, and they understand instantly that werewolf has entered the train cabin. Joey and two boys with him who proceeds for checking. They come to know this sound is coming from the lavatory, and there was a passenger in the lavatory and the lady's wound has getting worse who had been bitten by wolf. After a time, one of the passengers' phone rings and she was female passenger whose phone was ringing. Picking up the call, that girl begins to tell that we have caught in trouble and circumstances are unfavorable. Meanwhile, Werewolf brings that girl with him and puts her dead, breaking the train window. Being frightened, all take their seats. An elderly man among the passengers imparts instructions on how to deal with werewolf. They hold the blessed access using the heavy things of train. They seal the train's window and doors. That lady has started acting mysteriously. Her husband takes water for her, saying that thanks to Joy. Then that lady vomits blood and her teeth also drop down as she vomits. That self-centered boy says she is infected now because werewolf has bitten her, and she will also be transformed into werewolf after a time. Then says it is not as such. Being unwell, she is facing it. Suddenly, Joey notices that a passenger is missing from there. He was the same who was in lavatory, and he is also in lavatory at this time. Going near the lavatory, Joey asks him to come out as soon as possible because werewolf was exactly on the top of the train. Then that man in lavatory does not get water while washing his hands. Suddenly, werewolf enters the train and it kills that man. Joey had come to rescue that man who is dead now. So Joey begins to move to other people while saving his life, but a door was locked here for the first time. Joey glimpses that werewolf, which was very horrific. He loses his senses seeing him and he is disturbed. A werewolf is nearly to attack Joey. All passengers save him while opening the door, and they immediately close the train door. Being sturdily, that werewolf comes inside. Getting together, they all kill that horrific werewolf. They observe a one ring in the hand of werewolf. They get an idea that this werewolf was human being before, and he turned into werewolf because of any reason. It means he became werewolf due to the biting of any werewolf. Then that self-centered boy reminds to all that werewolf had also bitten that lady. It means she will also be transformed into the werewolf. So we should put her end because she is infected. Then werewolf comes into life again. It begins to howl loudly. Joey, who was wrathful, kills werewolf, attacking its head. Hearing the howling, that lady starts acting mysteriously. Then a forest scene is shown. It is known that are many other same werewolves in the forest. That self-centered boy begins to kill that lady. Then all fasten him to setting him aside. Then all fasten that lady along with him, so she may not harm them after transforming into werewolf. There is a boy who is mechanic. He says while talking about to start the train, there is oil leakage in the train, so it has stopped. He says, I will go to repair that oil leakage with my friend. Train has repaired to journey. Its light is turned into green here. That mechanic and his friend go outside to repair the train, finding the place of oil leakage. Mechanic begins to repair it. That mechanic's friend hears the voice of someone in the forest, and that voice was indicating as someone is in disaster and asking for help. And that boy alone moves to that forest to help. That boy observes coming at a distance on the tree. There was a dead body of a boy who had received a call and he was being eaten by werewolf. Then he begins to escape from there and he is surrounded by werewolf. Killing it disastrously, they eat him. Two werewolves come near to the train at that place where that mechanic was repairing the train. This werewolf peep under the train and that mechanic folds his leg upward. He is out of sight because of this. Joey and Ellen notices in the train that green light has turned on. They quickly start the train and begin to leave from there, but they are unaware that mechanic is under the train and that lady had transformed into the werewolf to the backbone. As being the werewolf, that lady kills her husband at the first and eat him. Then a girl who has without ticket goes at a place and starts while feeling fear, and a werewolf also catches him coming from backside, and that self-centered boy leaves her in the hand of werewolf instead, helping her because he has not going to be impacted with the life of or death of anyone. Now that wolf lady was about to attack that self-centered boy after her husband, but Joey saves his life coming from backside after killing that lady. There is again oil leakage of train by mechanic. It was mistakenly and train is halted. Ellen asks self-centered boy about that lady who was thrown before werewolf by him, and he tells that she had become the victim of werewolf. Now Joey had rescued that self-centered boy, but he leaves creating havoc for them. Joey and Ellen are surrounded by werewolf. At that exact time, mechanic burns the werewolf using the fuel of the train. He rescues Joey and Ellen. Here both are saved, but mechanic becomes the victim of werewolf. Here Joey expresses his hurt feeling of Ellen telling he is in love with her cordially. He asks Ellen to flee from here, being worried Ellen was not ready to go after leaving Joey in this trouble, but she still leaves from there. Then werewolf attacks Joey. Ellen observes a bandage of Joey's name reaching the station. Contrarily, that self-centered boy thinks as he is safe from those werewolves, but he was wrong because werewolves had arrived from the surroundings. Joey was one of them who had transformed into a werewolf, and they all werewolves kill that self-centered boy after being a unit, and the movie completes with the death of him. Thank you for watching.